It was the most mammoth week in franchise history. Robyn and I look back, plus our grades for the front office and the coaching staff.
You are Locked On Utah Hockey Club, your daily podcast on the Utah Hockey Club, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Locked On Mammoth podcast. I'm veteran NHL voice Tom Callahan, and joined by longtime team analyst Robyn Leaño. We are here to look back at every pun intended, mammoth week for the now Utah Mammoth hockey team. Robyn, when I thought we could take a breath, we could not take a breath this week. It was so packed full of things happening within this organization.
It's funny because I'll let you guys know some of the things we were doing behind the scenes here. Tom and I were talking at the beginning of this week. We're like, yeah, I think we can coast this week. We can maybe get some stuff done ahead of time. We'll be fine. Nothing's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, Utah wins the draft lottery. A name is decided. And all of a sudden, it's like it's just like everything was just loaded onto us. Like, well, I guess we don't have that week off.
And not even so much off. We're going to be here with you all week, but I mean, we certainly had planned some of the lower key content. Some of the grading, quite honestly, really had to be pushed back and just out because of everything that did happen this week and all the implications for the franchise. But that is one of the cool things about us doing a daily show and about you making us that first listen every day is that we are able to shift gears on the fly, drop content in, do some live shows and some reactionary shows like we did along the way too. So, boy, we've got a lot to look back on from this week. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Well, Robyn, it did all start, the beginning of the tipping of the apple cart, when it was still the Utah Hockey Club and the draft lottery hit. And it's funny because I had just that day been on Utah radio talking about, we're probably picking 14th, right? Nobody ever moves up that much. These things don't really happen. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, Utah goes from 14 to 4, and the New York Islanders get number 1 overall. So, by the way, I'm sure Gil Martin on Locked On Islanders is absolutely thrilled. But wow, what an incredible jump right there, because now you do get a chance, a much better chance, I should say, at a long-term impact player.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Getting that high up is a absolute huge opportunity for the Utah Hockey Club. They're able to making a big impact no matter what. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not number 1, but you're in the top 5. You're going to get somebody. And yeah. I mean, and someone mentioned this too, right? It's like, hey, didn't Utah just get number 6? You're right. They did just get number 6 last year, right? And that's how they drafted Tisha Ginla. But to kind of, but I think that was a year where they expected to draft high, right? Now they're in a situation where they didn't expect it, and it's a whole fun thing, right?
Yeah, this is why you got to pay your scouts some good money and have a good scouting staff. I thought it was fun. We got some reaction from Bill Armstrong. And this is one of my favorites because he didn't think there was a chance that they were going to end up moving up, because he even said, hey, this never happens. And guess what? It happened.
To pick at 4, I mean, like we were just a couple seconds ago, we were just like 10 back. So it's like it still hasn't sunk in, but what a great opportunity for us to be able to move up that far in the draft. And now we're right up at the top of the draft. And this is an exciting moment for us. It's a game changer for us. So I can't wait to huddle with the scouts tomorrow and go over it and kind of see, obviously we'd been studying the players that were available to us where we thought they'd fall. Now we're going to, obviously leap up a little bit, and it's going to be exciting times. But, I mean, just great stuff for the franchise. I can't express in words on the excitement of when that happened and the opportunity in front of us.
So now they have that big opportunity. Robyn, I actually thought it was funny, this next clip we're going to play here, because you forget, in a made-for-TV era, right, all these shows and all these things they do, they are based around eyeballs, viewership, and commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Armstrong thought they won, but actually wasn't 100% sure. He, like maybe a lot of other confused people out there, had to wait through the commercial break.
Well, it was kind of all over the map because they didn't reveal things. So I thought we had won, but I wasn't quite sure. So when they tuned back in and showed us that we'd won. I mean, that's you just start thinking in a different. It's your mind just totally switches to like who's available that you can get at 4. So it's really exciting times for us. Puts us in a different area of the draft and right up top. And it's going to be a great challenge for us to kind of go back and look at some of the players that are available in that spot and go to work. We've had that ability to pick in the last few years up in that range. So I really do think it's good as a staff when you're always kind of picking in the same range. You get used to what's available and the talent around you. So it's truly exciting, and we're gonna get to work tomorrow and start preparing.
Robyn, I think that feeds back to the point you just made about how they picked 6th last year. They knew they were going to pick 6th. That's what they expected to do. In the last couple of years, they've been drafting higher in the order. They didn't think they were going to this year, but Armstrong says, hey, because we've been doing that the last couple of years, that actually we're kind of ready for it.
Right. And and I think luckily Utah has some time, right? They still have some time to take to readdress their big board and be like, all right, that's where, who are some players that we can get now who we thought would normally be out of the question. And there's so many different aspects. They got to talk to all the not the pro scouts, but the amateur scouts. Talk to all the amateur scouts that are part of the franchise, and it's now going to be an incredibly busy next 6 weeks for the Utah.
It is, especially for that scouting staff, unless the number 4 draft pick gets put into play. Now, I don't expect it to move right now. However, once the draft is upon us, Robyn, let me ask you, if you're the GM right now of the Utah Hockey Club, do you put number 4 in play?
I think it's worth to put in play if the value is right. And I feel like I've kind of already mentioned this before, but I think Bill Armstrong, is the right man to be kind of put in this situation. I feel like he's got that level of patience to kind of knows I'm not going to pull a trigger. I'm not going to trade this asset away unless someone is giving me something juicy enough to make it worth it. He's like, I'm not going to do anything. So and that's kind of like what my mindset would be too. Is like, look, I'm going to listen to your offers, but I'm going to hold on to this because I know everyone wants it. And at some point, there could even be a bidding war. Someone's going to want it. And I'm like, if no one gives me a good enough offer, no big deal. I'll make my pick. I'll get the asset I want, and I'll run away happy.
I'm shopping the crap out of this number 4 pick. I am putting it out there on everybody's bulletin board. I am putting it up on billboards in their town, taking out radio ads. Hey, number 4 is available. I'm not saying I have to move number 4, but I would make it very well known that I am interested in a package of something to just field as many offers as I can. And to your point, Robyn, try to create a bidding war, create buzz around that, make it known that that's wide open. I absolutely would. Here's what Bill Armstrong said when I asked him that very same question.
I do. I think people will try and get into that pick. They'll try and get, they want to acquire it. They'll look at our team and say, listen, this team's had more picks in the last 4 years than any other NHL team. Can we go in there and give them a good player and for exchange for the pick? So I think that's something that obviously we'll always talk about. We'll never shut that door. That's always been an avenue for us to get players, and we're at the position right now as a team where we're trying to make that next step. So we'll always look at that. That's part of the process. But the amateur guys will be looking at the guy to pick, and they don't want to hear anything about trades. So that'll be an exciting moment for us. But yes, the phone will be ringing.
So I envision it like this. The phone rings and the scouts are slapping that phone out of his hand every chance they get because they want to make the pick at number 4. Like, don't answer that, Bill. I mean, it's kind of fun, right? It's a little tongue in cheek, but by the same token, I mean, either avenue, Robyn, does open up a road to improvement for the Utah Hockey Club. It's just one might be faster than another.
Oh, absolutely. You and unloading the pick for an asset. That asset would be a NHL an impact NHL roster player today, versus a person you'd be picking at number 4 this year in this year's draft. They'd be making an impact maybe in about 2-3 years.
Yes. And so that was what started the fire burning on our week here for the Utah Mammoth. And then out of nowhere on Wednesday, this was dropped. And it's now the Utah Mammoth. Robyn and I will take you back through a brief rewind and a look at the logos and the marks, the jerseys, in case you missed it. We'll go through all that briefly. Plus, we've got our front office and coaching grades coming your way here in just a moment. All right, today's show is brought to you in part by Amazon Fire TV. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all right there on your Fire TV. And with 4K streaming, you can watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. They're all right there on the Fire Stick. Plus, the cool part is it's affordable and portable gaming. Play high-quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. And if you've already got a console, well, how about making that Fire TV Stick 4K a more affordable and easier to travel console, which will allow you to take yours or your kids' games wherever you plug in. I'm a big gamer. Robyn's a big gamer. I'm a big gamer. This is awesome. I have the ability to game through my smart TV. I have it set up in the bedroom, and I can unwind with some games. I like to play Slay the Spire to just chill out sometimes before I go to sleep. But with all the awesome titles coming to Game Pass, Borderlands 3 is now on Game Pass. I can't wait for Borderlands 4. I'm super psyched for that. That's all coming to Game Pass. And with Game Pass Ultimate, it's all on there for you already. So if you're a big-time gamer, you like to keep up with all of the stuff. I mean, Diablo and just all kinds of cool things that are going on. Plus, a lot of the indie favorites that are popping up on there. Absolutely worth it. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. And today's show also brought to you by Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs put your post at the top of the page to help you reach the right candidates faster. So I tell you all the time, our organization, there's a lot of turnover in the world of sports, and you need to hire the right candidate, and you need them yesterday. The pressure's on, and every day without the right person in a role that could be as important as something like ticketing or merchandising is a setback. And that's exactly when Indeed sponsored jobs come in handy. They make sure your post is seen by the right candidates right now. Now you can speed up your hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/LockedOn right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, Indeed, is all you need. All right, Tom Callahan, Robyn Leaño back here with you in the Locked On Mammoth podcast. Robyn, they are now the Utah Mammoth, and we had it dropped on us. We'll go through the logo here as I pop it up on the screen for those on the YouTube side, but just describing some of the features and the built-in little, I don't even know if we can call them Easter eggs because they're intentional design elements.
Right. I mean, I think it's trying to figure out the right term, but yeah, design elements that are subtle, right? They're subtle enough because you can see them, but they're it's all part of a whole bigger thing that looks pretty clean. I love it.
And so we have little details on there. The tusk of the mammoth is in the shape of a U, representing the state of Utah, and that U is used in other places, which we're going to see in a little bit in the word mark. The ear of the mammoth is also an outline of the state of Utah, and the bottom of it has an ice blue M in it for mammoth, plus the top of the head is also shaped a little bit like the cutout of the state of Utah. So all that, and a lot of the subtleties that are in the logo. Robyn, I mean, I think they hit a home run. I really do. I think they kept it fairly simple, added enough detail to it. I think it looks great.
Right. Absolutely. It looks, I think it looks great. Plus, kind of like overlaid over the Wasatch Mountains. So like it kind of like you put a lot into one, into one logo without making it look overkill and everything like that. I'm going to give an example here, not to put anything, give any quotes crap to the Minnesota Wild, but that's a logo that puts a lot, right? There's a lot, like, honestly, for a while, I did not know it was a bear. Like, I had to like really look at it. I was like, oh.
I really like the Wild logo.
I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying there's so much going on.
It is a very 90s logo, though. It is a very 90s logo. I will say that. You could tell logos from the era from which they are born in. This one is a very logo of today. You could definitely tell.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the jerseys real quick. Inside the collar, established 2024 is in there. Utah will remain on the white road jersey. It's a different font. It is actually, as we learned, Robyn, not Comic Sans, but Mammoth Sans.
Mammoth Sans. There we go. Love it. Like I said, I love hearing about typography.
You picked the right font, and I think they did here. It looks good. It really does. The main logo is on the dark jersey. There's a little bit of a differentiation in the sleeve and the waistline striping. And Robyn, if we just quickly will show the looks here, the white uniforms will feature black gloves with white cuffs. That's a little bit of a departure. That U shape does make its way onto the thigh of the pants, and also on the helmet stickers. As we go to the secondary logos here, you're going to have that U and that Utah word mark with the tusk that goes through the U. So I like the use of that as well. And then the outline of the state and the Utah font, along with a hockey stick on there. So I thought that was an interesting secondary mark as well there. They like to outline the state and incorporate it into their design, and they did it again here.
They really did. There's so many little things in there that just, I think they just work. It kind of, it just matches the vibe of the state and matches the branding we're looking for. And really, and again, I think, as I mentioned it on, yesterday's live stream, or just or say Wednesday's live stream, Tom, is it allows these fans now attached to the identity, because we all knew Hockey Club was temporary, and we wanted something to latch on to be permanent, and Mammoth is now it.
And it's funny, you could be forgiven, Robyn. We had to go live twice this week. We went once live for the draft lottery. We went once live for the logo reveal. We had our normal episodes in there as well. We got out in front of ourselves because with the naming bomb getting dropped on Wednesday, Thursday's show still called them the Utah Hockey Club. Like, it was a heck of a week, right?
Right. And it's funny because, like, I teased at the beginning of Thursday's show of like, oh, it's using mammoth glue and all stuff like that. And I teased it. I mean, we knew it was going to happen, but we didn't know it was going to happen that soon. So I was teasing it, like, hey, it might happen soon, but it ended up happening the day before we released it.
Yeah, it's funny how fast things change, and they really did this week. So we're going to have our front office and coaching grades coming up here, and we're going to wrap up the week with that. But it's now, the hashtag is Tusks Up. Robyn and I are continuing to work on evolving our signs. Robyn, I think I've nailed it. All right, let's do it. Tusks up. Let's Tusks Tusks up. I think this is it. This is what
Let's
we're
see
going to go with.
I'm sticking with my traditional rocker symbol, but straightening out the fingers to form the U.
No, that's much easier, but I think mine looks more ridiculous, and that's why it's fun. So we'll see as we're Robyn and I are working hard on this one. We already had one that was shot down when we learned that it meant BS in ASL, so we had to get rid of that one already. So it's a work in progress, folks. We are working on this. We'll figure this out. So
yeah, and if we start seeing any of these hand gestures at Delta Center next season, you know who to thank.
Yes. Probably Robyn, not me. My stuff is not going to make the cut. So, all right. Bill Armstrong and Andre Tourigny et al. Are on the clock on the other side of this break. We're going to drop some more grades coming up in just a moment.
And today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. FanDuel has been my go-to on placing bets all over all of live sports. It's been really fun. I tend to really love going in on those same-game parlays. It really allows me to kind of stay invested in all of a single game, or other aspects of a game that maybe I don't normally pay attention to. Makes me focus more. Plus, again, with the live bets too, allows me to just stay engaged from the first whistle to the last. Absolutely love it. And of course, how could you turn down $200 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins? If you're new, once again, it's perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
All right, Tom Callahan, Robyn Leaño here in the Locked On Mammoth podcast. Thank you for making us your first listen each and every single day. We appreciate you, especially our everydayers who are here with us. And you guys have had a busy week. We've had a busy week. It's time to take a breath after this. We are both going to take the weekend and just relax from all of the Utah hockey news, unless something crazy happens.
Are we, though? I don't.
So, a huge trade happens all of a sudden. Who knows? I mean, yikes at this rate. There will continue to be, bombs that drop here, and we're going to be right up every day with you through free agency, through the draft. We'll be right here with continuing coverage on what we now know as the Utah Mammoth podcast. So thanks for being with us. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. By the way, if you like what you hear, you like what you see, tell your friends. Give us a thumbs up on the YouTube side. Helps us with the algorithm, and it also helps you find more great hockey content as well, because that's the way the algorithm works. Okay, Robyn, time to get serious. We're going to start grading again. Let's start with General Manager Bill Armstrong. And I'm going to let you go ahead and lead this discussion.
All right. So I think obviously we're starting through the draft. I think the draft is kind of like what kind of started everything, right? Taking a look at how Bill Armstrong was from the 2024 draft all the way through this year, he was put in a very unique situation of being able to say, hey, you can spend the money, that the pocketbook is open, do what you need to do to make this team a winner. But he didn't jump the gun and get overly eager. He made some of the right decisions. He actually added pieces that fit the timeline. And when injuries happened, he knew how to kind of handle it. There were a couple of hiccups every now and then, but what he did though, he didn't freak out, right? He didn't say, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do that. Did make some trades, but those trades worked. You take a look at the trade for Olli Maata, take a look at maybe some other aspects like waiver wire pickups, like picking up Nick DeSimone. I feel like he just did his job well, and I think really hit a home run on most of his moves this season, Tom. Which I'm going to even go out and say right away. I'm giving Bill Armstrong an A.
Robyn, this may be one of the few grades where we actually agree. I have Bill Armstrong down for an A, and I'm going to give you names as my reasons, and most of them are on the defensive side. Olli Maata, not only getting, but extending Maata up until 27-28. That's an A move in my book. Robert Bortuzzo comes in. I think he was an underrated signing, and unfortunately for Bortuzzo, was hurt a lot, and I think he's going to retire now. But I think he was a great pickup. Nick DeSimone was a waiver wire gem. Huge get for the Utah Hockey Club. The ability to pull off the Mikhail Sergachev trade, that was massive. Then followed up with John Marino. That was massive. Then the signing of Ian Cole, who is a veteran cup-winning defenseman. That was huge. He built the defensive core from nothing in really weeks, and then picked up a couple of more assets along the way. And even though it was hurt a lot this year, the defense is now built to be the defense of the future. So that alone is an A move. Then having Veg end up getting extended after really playing himself into a career year. Let's face it. I mean, you don't earn that contract without playing your way into it. But even on a not great team, put up some good individual numbers, is now in the books till 2030 at a reasonable cap hit, 4.75. That's the other thing I love about that move. That is absolutely fantastic. So that's a great move. The other move that I think we can all agree looks amazing right now is Dylan Guenther. Signing that Dylan Guenther contract and all of a sudden getting rewarded for it, not next year when it actually hits 7.142 million or 143, is that Guenther early on got hot, was streaky, fell off for a little while, but then finished strong. This is one of the best young snipers in the game, might be one of the best shots in the NHL right now. And Bill Armstrong had the vision and the faith to sign this player. I think almost everything he's done this year has put the Utah Mammoth in a position to be a better hockey team next year. So for me, yes, I agree. A.
Yeah, I mean, we've called him Build Builder. We've also said in Build we trust. I have gotten to like see it anytime something happens, right? I'm like, all right, hold on, let him cook. Let him cook. Let him figure out what to do. Let Bill cook.
I like it. If Bill had a food truck, I'd be in line for sure. Because you might not know what you're getting, but you know it's going to be good.
Right.
So there you go. All right, Robyn. Let's move on to coaching Andre Tourigny. This is going to be interesting between you and I. I'm going to let you open on this one before I come in with my sword, my shield, everything out. Let's see what you have to say here.
So I will say this, like, I feel like, I've talked about the coaching overall, including just like Andre Tourigny as a whole, and said, all right, look, I think he's done a phenomenal job to get the Utah Mammoth to where they are today. I felt like he was great in getting them developed and where they are. But I have a lot of issues in several different areas. One is there are some very stark areas where they still haven't improved. The talent is significantly improved over the last couple of years, but the same areas of mistakes, the same areas that I'm seeing that they're not getting better in, it makes me wonder, is it a coaching issue? Right? That's one. And then two is some management decisions. Look, I say what you will about the whole how Vejmelka situation towards the end of the season. I mean, I think he played phenomenal down the stretch, but at some point it seemed like it didn't matter. And they kept playing him and everything. And at that point, I'm like, all right, what are you doing? Right? You don't want to burn your top goaltender into the ground. You don't want that to happen. And it left a sour note in my taste that brought down my grade of what I was originally going to put out, but it brought it down for me into a C-.
Okay. I'm not far off you with a lot of your thinking. The way Veggie was handled down the stretch, I will come to that. But the inconsistency, I like to call them the naps that they took during the year, is not something that just happened this year. It's not something that just happened with this roster. It's been a hallmark of this team for years now. Mm-hmm. And one common thread has been the coaching. When your coach on multiple occasions says to you, "We weren't ready tonight, and that's on me." Yes, it is. It is on you. You are absolutely correct. They may come out and punch somebody in the mouth, but when you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games where they come out and show nothing, also systematically, structure wise, a lot of breakdowns, and if it's not the system that's breaking down, it's the players. And it is your job as a coach to coach those players to learn the system and improve their game. And if those aren't the right players for your system, you as the coach have to tweak your system, not force the square peg into the round hole, which is a very popular coaching tactic. It's like, wow, he can't play the system. That guy, no, that's not your job as a coach. Like, the GM gives you your slate of players and you have to make them do the best you can. Sometimes that means being flexible. I don't think they made enough adjustments. I still question the benching of spicy tuna. I question the overplaying of veg down the stretch. There were a lot of things. And look, Tuna wasn't playing well at the time, but when you took him out, it was clear the heart and soul was missing from the team. The problem was he stayed out for an extended period. If you want to take him for a couple games to teach him a lesson, fine. Lawson Krause should have sat more than one game, in my opinion, but he didn't. And I don't know. I think there is a coaching problem. I think there's a systems problem. I think special teams is wildly inconsistent. The power play was good, but not when it had to be. The penalty kill was hit or miss. Never knew what you were getting. And there's reasons, Robyn. You can build in your excuses. You can talk about injuries. You can talk about this, that, and the other thing. This isn't just a this year thing. So look, the what kept it from being a D+ for me, and I settled on a C-. And the reason I had to settle on a C- is because what happened with improving in the standings, I thought was an important move forward. So I was okay with that. I was okay with them being able to move forward, gain some extra points in the standings, and then finish close to the playoffs. But the thing is when they needed the push, when they needed to play together, then of course you try to burn out your starting goaltender. So many things that I just felt like were mishandled, not done. So if C is league average, that's below league average to me. It's a D+ to C- effort. The only thing that keeps it from being worse is the fact that they did improve in the standings. So that's where I finish on the grading front. So I think that is actually going to do it for the show this week. And now keep in mind, we have brand new social media handles out there. We are now at Locked On Mammoth on Twitter, or X if you prefer. So you can always join us there. Keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that right now, for this Locked On podcast, we're going to be migrating other channels as well. So we will let you know on our shows when we get all those handles ironed out. Some of it, quite frankly, and just like the branding, you see, it still says Utah Hockey Club. We have to wait a little bit from the parents to get all that ironed out. But once we get it all ironed out, we're going to pass it all on and let you know where to find us. You can find me on Blue Sky. I'm at Tom Talks. Robyn on Blue Sky is at Robyn Ice Time. And I think it's at Robyn_Leaño on Twitter. So, and I am at Callahan on air on Twitter. So, all right, everybody. Well, thank you for being a part of our grading process as we've gone through the weeks and our week in review. It was a busy week. We will be back at you on Monday. Thank you so much for being a part of the Locked On Mammoth podcast.